Tagaan na kanegong signal.
Okay, thank you so much. We are back. Thanks God. We are very sorry that we had encountered technical problem due to our connection. So we will give you back our education program supervisor in kindergarten to continue to discuss the most essential learning competencies in mother tongue, and later will be the most essential learning competencies in kindergarten. Take it away.
Thank you, Ma'am RC. Now I'm back. So this is it. So let's have this topic. How did we come up for this question? How did we come up with MELCs in mother tongue? Though we have new MELC in mother tongue, but the grade level standards remain the same as what it is stipulated in the curriculum guide of K-12. That a grade 1 completer is expected to demonstrate basic communication skills in talking about familiar topics using simple words and both verbal and non-verbal cues. To understand spoken language, shows understanding of basic vocabulary and language structures, reading process, writing system, and appreciates aspects of one's culture. For a grade 2 completer, it is expected, or the grade level standard is, the learner demonstrates communication skills in talking about variety of topics using developing vocabulary and simple phrases and sentences, simple to complex spoken language using both verbal and non-verbal cues, understands vocabulary and language structures, appreciates and understands the cultural aspects of the language and the writing system used, and reads and writes simple and short literary and informational text. For grade 3, the grade level standards is the learner demonstrates communication skills in talking about variety of topics using expanding vocabulary and phrases, shows understanding of spoken language in different contexts using both verbal and non-verbal cues, vocabulary and language structures, cultural aspects of the language, reads and writes literary and informational text. So those were the grade level standards for grades 1 to 3. This remained the same in MELCs. So let us have these examples on how the learning competencies were trimmed down and came up to the most essential learning competencies. For grade 1, for example, grade 1, mother tongue grade 1, we have this competency. Talk about oneself and one's personal experiences. Hmm. This is grade 1 oral language in quarter 1. Another competency in grammar awareness, we have use appropriate expressions orally to introduce oneself, family, friends, and others. And another learning competency for vocabulary and Sunning C. Comprehension, development, vocabulary referring to people, self, family, friends, animals, objects, musical instruments, environment. So these three, since the justification is, although the three learning competencies are classified under three different domains, they can be clustered since they may all require the same skill. So these three are merged, making them into one. And so what is found in the most essential learning competency is talk about oneself and one's personal experiences using appropriate expressions for family, pet, favorite food, friends, favorite toys, etc. So this is now the merged competency out of these three. Another example for grade 2 oral language. Participate actively during story reading by making comments and asking questions using complete sentences. This competency is retained. Another example is read a large number of regular spelled multisyllabic words. Still, this competency is retained. Another, identify the gender of naming words when applicable. All these three were retained. Why? Because the following learning competencies are enduring and are foundational skills in later competencies. Next, why some of the competencies are deleted or were deleted. We have this one. Example for grade 2. Express individual choices and taste for text. That was deleted. This one also show love for reading by listening attentively during story reading and by making comments or reactions. Another, browse, read books for various purposes such as for learning and for pleasure. These three learning competencies were deleted with this justification. All learning competencies under the attitude towards learning readings domain were deleted because they are already embedded in the teaching and learning process. So these skills are, since some of the developmental skills are interrelated, so perhaps even this, like this one, express individual choices and taste cannot be included. However, this can be developed because the development of one domain can also be the development of others. So perhaps these learning competencies can also be developed even if these are deleted. So grade 3, example of merging again or clustering. Grade 3, this competency is for grammar. Identifies and uses verbs appropriate for the grade level. Another competency, still in grammar, uses the correct form of the verb given the time signal. And another, still under grammar in grade 3, uses the correct form of the verb that agrees with the subject. If you have observed, the skill is just the same with these three competencies. So this is classified as the same domain and skill requiring the same cognitive demand. Therefore, it can be subsumed in the example. So finally, the MELC comes out this way. Uses the correct form of the verb that agrees with the subject when writing an event or an interesting experience. So that is an example of merging. So three competencies turned into one. So kaya nga, lumiit ang number ng ating competencies sa MELC. Okay. This one, example of rephrasing. Enumerates and interprets the labels in an illustration. So it is rephrased. Now this one is rephrased. So the justification is remove some words with two verbs to be concise. So, dalawang verbs kasi dito, enumerates and interprets. Alright. So the grade level standards are maintained through the chosen MELCs. So, again, the grade level standards remain the same. So how to use the MELCs in mother tongue? So this is it. Subtask the MELCs. So teachers need to subtask the MELCs if needed. For example, in grade 2, quarter 1, the MELC or the competency in MELC is give the summary of a story. This is quite difficult already. This is quite higher already. And of course, this competency cannot be attained without these sub-competencies. Give the main idea of a story or poem. Give the correct sequence of 3 to 5 events in a story. And note important details in grade level narrative text. For example, the character, the setting, the plot, problem, and solution. Okay, so these three competencies may be the prerequisites to come up with the competency summarizing. So, though the given competency in MELC is to summarize, however, this cannot be attained without these sub-competencies, giving main idea, sequencing the events, and noting details. These are the sub-competencies that will somehow help the child attain to summarize the story. So that is how to subtask the MELCs, no? And perhaps you will also be guided using the CG. So CG is still of use. Now, reteach the MELCs as needed. So the teacher knows the result, or if the result is not that good, then the teacher has to decide if he or she has to reteach the competency. Another is decide on the duration of MELCs depending on the needs of the learner. That is why it is still encouraged that the teacher has to contextualize so that he or she may be able to plan out the number of days as to when the or the number of days as to when the competency shall be taught. So how many days this competency shall be taught, no? Okay, so decide the duration. So let me share this before I'll end. Let me share this quotation by Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. So everything would be possible without, every task would be possible without getting started. So thank you, but thank you for listening about the orientation of MELCs in mother tongue. This time, let's have the kindergarten. So let me proceed to kindergarten. Oh, presentation for kindergarten. Excuse me for a while, ha? Okay. Anyway, kindergarten is too short. All right. Sa kindergarten this time, huh? The same aim, the same aim for this orientation to discuss with the school administrators and teachers in kindergarten the rationale and processes behind the development of the list of the most competencies, learning competencies. So the background, the Department of Education through the Bureau of Curriculum Development, Curriculum Standards Development Division has developed the most essential learning competencies or MELCs for kindergarten to address the challenges brought about by the global pandemic. Its negative impacts in the educational system, which include but not limited to the shortened school year, limited face-to-face interaction of teachers and learners, and other instructional delivery related concerns pose serious problem most specifically to our kindergarten to grade 3 K stage or first K stage learners. Yes, this is really a challenge to the first K stage learners considering that face to face is instruction is discouraged and these learners are dependent on the face-to-face instruction. No? They are really dependent to somebody's supervision, no? In learning. So the kindergarten milks ensure that all 5-year-old Filipino learners achieve the content and performance standards expected of them in various learning domains. So still, the crafting of the milks follow the criterion endurance. And then, even if we already have the milks, the shortened number of learning competencies, however, this competencies still anchored with the 7 developmental domains for kindergarten because these developmental domains are non-negotiable. So still those MELCs or learning competencies are anchored with these domains. Those competencies will really address for the development of the 7 developmental domains in kindergarten. And of course, those competencies, the delivery of learning will still follow the circular themes, which start with the myself and followed by my family, my school, my community, and more things around me. So still the scope is getting wider. It starts from myself and the scope gets wider until it reaches to the things in the environment or more things around me. So hindi nawawala yung 7 developmental domains and the circular themes. All right, so in the original curriculum guide, the total number of learning competencies is 241. However, in MELCs, only 27% of the 241 was retained. So only 66 out of those 241 came out to be in MELCs. Okay, so how to use the MELCs in kindergarten? The MELCs identified in kindergarten may be taught repeatedly to help the learner acquire the necessary knowledge, skills, and values. So in short, the competencies shall be taught repeatedly for mastery. And it is also recommended that the teacher unpack the MELCs into more specific learning competencies or objectives using the kindergarten curriculum guide The teacher may add more sub-competencies depending on the need of the learner. So we'll have the example. Okay, still the content standards and performance standards present in the CG remain the same in the MELC. So walang nagbago dyan. Dito na lang tayo sa most essential learning competencies or the learning competencies in CG. Now, in the new curriculum guide, the MELC, ito na. So, pagpapaunlad ng socio-emotional at kakayahang makipamuhay. So, ito na yung mga learning competencies na kikilala ang sarili, pangalan, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, when we subtask this one, okay, this is how to do it. Now, this is the MELC. Pagpapaunlad ng socio-emotional at kakayahang makipamuhay. So these are the sub-competencies because in teaching kindergarten, we still have to follow the blocks, ano ba yun? I forgot the time frame in teaching the kindergarten, day by day, the blocks of time. So anyway, the blocks of time, the teacher still has to follow the blocks of time, and in the blocks of time, the activities per block of time will have different competencies, no? Will cater different competencies, and those activities, the competency of each activity in each block of time will now be so-called as the sub-competencies. Like for the language literacy and communication, this is under meeting time 1. Okay, so these are now the sub-competencies. Use the proper expression in introducing oneself. Example, I am or my name is. And then talk about one's personal experiences or narrates events of the day. So these activities are under the meeting time 1. Though these are already subtasked, but these are still anchored to your main objective or main learning competency, which is pagpapaunlad ng socio-emotional at kakayahang makipamuhay, na nakikilala ang sarili, na sasabi ang pangalan at apelyido, nasasabi or nalalaman ang kasarian. Okay, yan, no? Under socio-emotional development, pagpapaunlad ng socio-emotional at kakayahang makipamuhay. This is now the main learning competency na ipakikita ang tiwala sa sarili, na tugunan ang sariling pangangailangan ng mag-isa. Halimbawa, maghugas ng kamay, kumain, magbihis, magligpit, tapusin ang gawaing nasimulan. These activities are done during work period or perhaps during recess, supervised recess. Pwede, no? Okay. Kasi team-related and ano ba yun? Yung subjects are integrated, no? Subjects are integrated. Now, for the aesthetic, for the motor development, aesthetic creative development, sining, nakagagalaw, nakasasabay, nakaiindak at nakasasayaw sa himig na napapakinggan. Okay, this subtask can be done during work period 1, or this can be done during meeting time 3. In mathematics, work period 2's focus is on mathematics. So recognize and identify numbers. So this is mathematics is still integrated, but of course the instruction given, though it is it talks about numbers, but some instructions are still anchored on the theme, no? Na about sa sarili or sa pamilya. I mean, sa sarili. Physical health and motor development, kalusugan physical at pagpapaunlad sa kakayahang motor. So, integration of health, integration of PE, na isasagawa ang mga sumusunod na kilos lokomotor sa pagtugon sa ritmong mabagal at mabilis, paglakad, pagtakbo, pagkandirit, paglundag, pagtalon, paglukso. Okay, so this is found in in meeting time 3. So, these are the examples of subtasking or making sub-competencies for the MELC. Okay, and anyway, you are also guided with this using the KTG. Okay, so next example. Okay, for quarter 2, week 2, ang content standard, pareho lang yan, no? At saka performance standard. Most essential learning competencies for socio-emotional development, pagpapaunlad ng socio-emotional at kakayahang makipamuhay. Natutukoy kung sino-sino ang bumubuo ng pamilya. So, the sub-competencies are the following: socio-emotional development, na ilalarawan ang mga karanasan na may kinalaman sa pagtutulungan ng pamilya at paaralan. So, kailan ba ito nangyayari? Sa klase ng kinder. Okay, sharing of experiences is done during meeting time 1. That is one of the routines in meeting time 1, na ikukwento ang mga naging karanasan bilang kasapi ng komunidad still in meeting time 1, because telling experiences, sharing experiences, sharing news is done in meeting time 1. And that is still under language, literacy, and communication. No? Talk about family members, pets, okay, parehos lang yan, meeting time 1. For aesthetic creative development in scening, so, nakaguguhit, nakapagpipinta, at nakapagkukulay ng iba't ibang bagay o gawain, or dekorasyon sa name tag, kasapi ang mag-anak, gawain ng bawat kasapi ng mag-anak, mga alagang hayop, mga halaman sa paligid. This happens during work period 1. Still integrated ang sining, pero ang focus ng mga ginagawa nila ay anchored sa theme ng lesson nila. Then, mathematics, collect data on one variable about sex, boys or girls, through observation and asking questions. So, this is also anchored of the learning competency about kasarian. So, that is mathematics is integrated, no? And this is in meeting time 2 and work period 2. Values development, kagandahang asal. Kahit saan-saang block ito na nakikita, no? Nakapagsasabi ng totoo sa magulang, nakatatanda at iba pang kasapi ng pamilya sa lahat ng pagkakataon. So, kagandahang asal is integrated in different blocks of time, or as the need arises, no? Now, we could learn a lot from crayons. Some are sharp, some are pretty, some are dull, while others bright. Some have weird names, but they all have learned to live together in the same box. That is from Robert Fulghum. Now, the same is true in teaching. We perform different styles, we deliver different instructions, but the end goal is to develop a child into a literate one, into a responsible, into a productive one, and a contributing member of the society. So with that, let me say thank you and God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to our
I'm done.
supervisor,
Commander should
Mr.
go.
Grace. Thank you so much, Grace, for your expertise in discussing the most essential learning competencies in mother tongue and in kindergarten. It really provides everyone the significant knowledge, especially to those teachers who are handling the K stage 1. And yet, it's very true that at the age of 0 to 8 years old in the lives of our learners are really considered crucial. Because we need to develop in them the skills which are really appropriate to their level. And of course, the provision of early intervention so that all the skills acquired will be early developed in them as they grow up. Okay, so thanks God, we are now heading to our closing part of this 2-day activity. But before we'll give you our two assistant schools division superintendents and of course our schools division superintendent, let us hear some words as a sort of summary from our chief of the curriculum implementation division for all the remarks of this activity. Let's welcome back our chief, Dr. Lilia E. Abelio.
Thank you so
Hello,
much,
ma'am.
Dr. Arcelita D. Zamoras, our anchor for today's webinar in continuation of our discussion on the on our most essential learning competencies. It has been turned over to Dr. Zamoras because yours truly attended the conference called by our schools division superintendent. So I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to all the education program supervisors for facilitating the discussion on the most essential learning competencies in their specific area, and also from Monday on the parts or salient features of DepEd Order number 12, Series 2020. Thank you so much to all of you, our education program supervisors. Please virtual clap for our education program supervisors. I know our viewers. How many viewers do we have now? 1.4. Despite the difficulties in accessing our internet connectivity, but you stayed with us. It's just so sad that there are municipalities that are in brownout now, like uh, Sarabuay, Siocon, Baligian, and I also was notified by Manukan, by the district supervisor of Manukan that there is also brownout. It's also brownout in Manukan. So I am hoping that you can also listen to the brilliant words of and the messages of our assistant school division superintendents. Please stay tuned, stay for a while, and also message of our schools division superintendents. So I would like to extend my thanks and appreciation to all of you, to the public schools district supervisors for pulling out your and encouraging your elementary and secondary school heads and teachers to stay with us and to view and to learn in this webinar through Facebook and others through YouTube platform. How many are viewing the YouTube? We will check. Facebook, there are 1.4, 1,400 viewers. Okay. So we will check for YouTube. So thank you so much to our public schools district supervisors. Please virtual clap also to our public schools district supervisors. Yes, we have 51 viewing through the YouTube platform. And also, thank you so much to our dear school heads in the elementary and secondary level, to the elementary and secondary school teachers. Uh, Last Monday, we reached up to 3.8 thousand viewers, and others have even commented. There were those who comment uh, right in the comment box, viewing outside Region 9, viewing outside Zamboanga del Norte. So we do not know whether they are our teachers who are there working from home from outside Region 9, but we are happy that others have viewed us outside our province. Thank you so much, dear teachers. I know that uh, this is a sacrifice for you, sitting, prolonged sitting for 3 days with us, and we do hope that this is not a waste of your time, and we do hope that you learn a lot and you are now guided on how to utilize the most essential learning competencies in the delivery of basic education per learning continuity plan that has been crafted by each school as anchored to our division learning continuity plan and the regional continuity plan, and also the central office basic education learning continuity plan. There will be succeeding webinars to be conducted by the CID. I hope you will be patient enough and you will have the diligence and you will have the passion and commitment to stay with us in all the webinars that we will be conducting, so that uh, we can guide you, allow us to extend our technical assistance through this platform because we do not have any other means. So I do hope that now you can identify what part of your locality you can access uh, internet connection, strong internet connection, so that you can stay with us in our webinars. Thank you ever so much. Please, wherever you are, keep safe, COVID free, uh, be healthy always. And we are doing this not because of ourselves, but we are doing this for our learners, for the Filipino learners, for the learners of DepEd Zamboanga del Norte Division. We are doing this para sa bata, para sa bayan, and to God be the glory. God bless everyone. See you in the next webinar. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Lil Abilio, for that very inspiring message, very touching words. And this time, the next person to share some pieces of words to ponder is a person not looking like her age. She maintains her beauty and charisma with a true smiles to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, kay medyo nagdali siya kay wala na ko'y laing undertakings. Let's welcome our very own Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Madam Lorma I. Pukulan. A virtual platform.
Hello! Good afternoon, everyone! Uy, lami nga, daghan kay pak-pak. So, finally, this webinar has ended, no? But it does not mean that our activities has ended today, but then this is only the beginning of more challenges that will come our way in our pursuit for learning continuity despite the pandemic. Now, since I am a storyteller, I'm going to tell you a story again this afternoon. And I hope you are very much comfortable seated wherever you are, nasa landahan, sa kalubinan, sa daplit sa dalan. Nagkakita kay kong mga posts today. I really appreciate your interest in joining this webinar. Bisan pag nagdala o bangko sa daplit sa dalan. And I have seen that you are using your earphones to listen, using your cell phones, no? So Multitasking gyapon kay galingkod, nangibot og sabot sa dapit sa dalan while listening. Naglanda sa landahan pero naminaw gyapon sa mga atong mga EPSS. Maayo gyud kayo ning Filipino, no, we are so resilient so bisan unsa ato ang face nga challenges and still we find enjoyment and we with so much fun in what we are doing. So let me tell you a story. I know some of you have already heard this, but it's a very nice story, and I want to share it again to even to those who have heard it already. No, okay. So open your ears because I'll ask you again comprehension questions afterwards. There once was a very wealthy, curious king. This king had a huge boulder placed in the middle of the road. Then he hid himself nearby to see if anyone would try to remove the gigantic rock from the road. The first people to pass by were some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers. Rather than moving it, they simply walked around it. A few loudly blamed the king for not maintaining the roads, but not one of them tried to move the boulder. Finally, a peasant came along. His arms were full of vegetables, but when he got near the boulder, rather than simply walking around it as the others had, the peasant put down his load and tried to move the stone to the side of the road. It took a lot of effort, but he finally succeeded. The peasant gathered up his load and was ready to go on his way when he saw a purse lying in the road where the boulder had been. The peasant opened the purse, and the purse was stuffed full of gold coins and a note from the king. The king's note said the purse gold was a reward for moving the boulder from the road. The king showed the peasant that many of us never understand. My friends, every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve our condition. So I would like to relate this to our present condition. We may have so many obstacles now, but then later on, we will be able to collect the gold under from under the obstacles that we will be moving to the side of the road. So let us continue working with commitment and dedication despite all these difficulties. And one day, we will just go back to this day. We will just turn our heads back to this day and say that we conquered everything with God's help. We were able to cross all our challenges and came out victorious with the help of God. Thank you and God bless us all.
Yay! Virtual talk. Thank you, Ma'am Norms. As we look at you, ma'am, as if we are again opening a new story to listen to. Kindergarten, with kayong teacher ni si ma'am. Stories that would lead us to reflect on, to go on, and to move forward despite the blocks ahead of us. Thank you so much, Ma'am Norm. And now let us also listen some bits of encouragement from our another soft-spoken woman behind the Schools Division of Zamboanga del Norte. A Chinita Ay, parihada po ba? Ano? Chinita Ay. Another beautiful woman in and out. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Maria Jodilyn J. Ramos. Virtual platform, Ma'am Jodilyn.
Hello, good morning. Saan na ba oras? Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
Good afternoon, Ma'am
Good
Judy.
afternoon. Can you see me?
Of course, we can see
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Okay, sige.
We see
Virtual
you.
hugs na lang ha for everybody who is here with us, no? Asa man sila karon in the parts of the Philippines siguro, no? Not only in Zamboanga del Norte. And I would like to share with you, my experience every time I would travel every morning, no, as everybody knows, every morning I would travel from Kalawit para diri sa Dipolog sa division, no. And one of the things that I would usually do is to look at the schools as I pass by these schools. No, sometimes uh, I would feel sad because it's August and it's July and August is almost here and supposedly basta July busy naman gud ang mga eskwelahan. So I said the schools are empty. Where supposed to be schools are playgrounds of our children, of our kids. So and then I realized yes, we are really in the new normal. And these schools, although the buildings are closed, but learning should continue as what we have said yesterday. So sabi ko, okay, we should do this as educators. We should support our the Department of Education and all of its measures na tinitingnan natin, no? So that children can still learn, can still continue to learn. So sabi ko, yes, we shall. We should do it. We should continue to do our task as teachers, as educators, kasi pandemic lang yan. Sabi ko sa isip ko, this is only COVID. And we are teachers. We are human beings. We are God's children, and we will prevail. So I said, yes, we can do it. And all of you now who are participating in our webinar, asa man mo karon, whatever is your position, standing, lying down, sitting down, nagkat-kat sa lubi, unsa pa man, you are here, we are all here because we know in our hearts that we are committed in our service to serve our country, to give quality education to our learners in whatever modalities na naadiha. So, sabi nga ni Alan Cohen, be happy with what you have. Be excited about what you want. So, we are happy. We are excited because naa tayo MELCs, because we have MELCs. So, ibig sabihin, nothing is impossible in this world. So, we have all this technology, mayroong high-tech, may low-tech, but we can all use these technologies to bring learning to our students. So, ito ay para sa bata, para sa bayan. So, with that, thank you for your participation. Stay safe, and God bless everyone. Stay happy, stay healthy. God bless us all. Daghang salamat. Mayong hapon sa tanan.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Judy, for that virtual clap for Ma'am Judy. And thank you so much again for that encouragement, Ma'am, that made everyone stronger to proceed and to reach our common vision. Moving forward, Ma'am Jude, para sa bata, para sa bayan. And this time, finally, for the total provisions that our hearts and our minds need, and to further encourage and inspire us despite the challenges that we are facing right now. We will give you our ever supportive, a kind of a true leader, Dr. Maria Liza R. Tadlon. Virtual clap for Ma'am Liza, please. Hello, Ma'am Liz. Apa si Ma'am Liza? For our schools division superintendent to be in our webinar room. I would like to remind everyone to please accomplish the survey or the Katami form provided to you by Sir Julius. I hope Sir Julius has already provided the link for that Katami for the evaluation of this 2-day orientation for most essential learning competencies.
Nasa
So
screen,
hopefully
ma'am.
you are
Nasa
still with
screen,
us
naka-flash sa screen ang katami.
via Facebook, and please comply or accomplish to fill in the survey form, the evaluation form provided to each one of you. So for a while, let us wait for our school's division superintendent to be around. I know that she is very busy with all the virtual meetings, which are sometimes schedules are conflict because of their several virtual meetings to attend to. So let us wait for her for a while. So while waiting, kindly look into the evaluation form provided to you and get the link and then accomplish the evaluation form. Hello, Ma'am Lil.
Ang katami link nasa inyong screen makita ano. Please kuha na lang tanawan ninyo. And you can also scan the QR code.
We would like to ask Sir Julius if the link for the evaluation for the Katami has already provided to all our viewers.
Nana ma'am, nasa screen ma'am ang katami link.
Thank you. So you would let us wait for a while for the message of our schools division superintendent. I know even last Monday, palaging busy si ma'am, nag-attend ng mga virtual meetings from the region and from the national. You'd like to ask some updates, Sir Jule, if Ma'am Lisa is available right now?
While waiting for Ma'am.
Yes, Ma'am Lil. Are there final instructions?
Wala pa.
Let us listen to our chief. Maybe there are final instructions.
I just would like, because I forgot to say this, I just would like to extend, in behalf of the CID, I just would like to extend my sincerest thanks and appreciation to our ITO, Sir Julius Bilagantol. Please, virtual clap for Sir Julius Bilagantol. Sir Julius, thank you so much for the technical assistance. Without you, we could not have possibly conduct this webinar. And then also extend our thanks and appreciation to your staff, to Aaron Velasco, and also to Oliver. Thank you so much for your assistance so that we can successfully conduct this webinar. As always, I know you are there helping us. You are just on call. Isang call, isang text ka lang, and Sir Julius is there to the rescue. Sir Jul, thank you. God bless. Keep safe always. Back to you, R. We are still waiting for our school division superintendent. So while waiting, please comply with the tatami forms. Fill up. Thank you, R. Thanks,
Yes,
everyone.
you would like to say thank you also to our education program supervisors who are really gave their full engagement in sharing their expertise. Now, we would like to see your smiles in our webinar room. Kindly open your cameras. Our speakers, our education program supervisors. Panahon na para makita natin yung mga smiles natin in our different posts right now. Okay, so we have Ma'am Hilda Galaura. Congratulations, Ma'am Hilda, for sharing your expertise in the most essential learning competencies of TNT. So are for the four components that you have heard of today, of the four components of the market. Thank you so much, Sir R. For giving your expertise. Yun ang pagbibinyag mo kasi kahit bago ka pa, yun ang nagbibigay mo sa mga tao na sa field or sa mga teachers or mga sa ating mga schooling heads. Okay, you have already rendered your technical assistance to them. We have also Dr. Bonnie. She had already opened her camera. Ma'am, thank you so much for sharing and for English, for the most essential learning competencies in English. Thank you so much, Ma'am. We have also other guests. Can you open your camera? Mampe is wearing the floral dress. Now this time, we will give you our school division president after the busy schedules that she is doing right now. But still, we need to listen to her for some consideration for this for the two-day activity. Let's welcome our division superintendent, Dr. Maria Liza R. Tabilon. Virtual platform, Ma'am Liza. Ma'am Liz, wala na open imuhang kuan, ma'am. Wala na open. Ang microphone, ma'am, wala na open.
Here. Okay.
Okay.
Apologies. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity given so that, again, I can join you in this particular convergence. I would like to congratulate one and all for your very active participation in this activity. At least we are now assured that we have imparted to you the knowledge that we need you to acquire in order that we can be better guided in our operation and in our implementation of the curriculum. Now sound. Can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
May apology because there is somebody who informed me na parang hindi yata lumabas ang sound. Well, I just stuttered immediately without actually checking. I was just trying to fix when I was given the indication na hindi pala naka-open ang microphone. And yes, I'm back. Again, I thank you all for your very active participation. We have seen your posts. And those are actually very encouraging for all of us here at the Schools Division Office. It just has given us the assurance that even if we are far from one another, we know that we are able to carry out the duties which are entrusted to us. That is about ensuring that our delivery of various services can be done. And with your support, I know we can continue with what we are supposed to do in preparation for the opening of classes this coming August 24. that is as far as our recent issuances is concerned, because there is no other issuance that we can base upon our directions and our intentions and all our decisions pertaining our operations. Our operation, specifically our opening of classes this coming August 24. By far, there is that DepEd order that was issued, and unless ano baka kung saka na yang lang yata magbabago ang ating mga desisyon and our directions whenever there would be succeeding information or directive that would be given to us. Until this time, that remains the same, and so our plan would be continuous, and our plan would mean for implementation comes the opening of classes. I congratulate you. At this time, we have done at least the first phase of the series of activities that the Curriculum Implementation Division it has lined up to do before the opening of classes this August 24. The orientation of the most essential learning competencies which you just have experienced with our different speakers, our very own education program supervisors in the different learning areas. Congratulations to all. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng tulong ninyo, sa lahat ng sa expertise which you have exemplified in this convergence. Ang susunod po natin na gagawin would already be we would already be embarking towards knowing better and knowing more how we can better perform the implementation of our learning continuity plan. And we will be dealing the next time on how we can deliver the learning modalities which we deem proper and appropriate in our various localities. We know na magkaiba po ang ating mga lugar. May mga eskwelahan po, may mga localities, for that matter, na may mga malakas ang internet connection. May mga estudyante na may mga gamit na, may mga gadgets for online learning, and meron na tayong while meron din tayong mga estudyante na even ang pagkalikot ng cellphone ay hindi alam. And those things are some of the considerations that we are trying to put into our considerations in terms of a particular modality or learning modality that we are going to implement in our different localities. So, until then, ladies and gentlemen, sa lahat po ng ating mga guro na nakikinig ngayon, maraming salamat. I know this thing that we are doing is not easy on your part, knowing that there are some of you. I have seen the post, and I really, my salute to you all. Kasi nagawa niyo talaga ng paraan. May iba dyan nakikita natin in your post as forwarded to us by the district supervisors and our school principals. Nasa mga daan pala kayo. I hope na hindi kayo huhulihin ha. Just please, if you are together, continue to practice the mga health protocols, follow the standard procedures in terms of how we can protect ourselves whenever we are with people, para hindi po tayo maging violative of the provisions of the law or mga policies which are implemented in our different localities. So, sumunod po tayo sa mga kautusan whenever there will be a need for you to gather. Do not ever forget na hingiin niyo po ang permiso ng ating mga local IATF officials. Kasi sila po ang magbibigay sa atin ng permission whether our particular undertaking can be done or not. Well, if they will be giving permission for us to undertake such, ay alam natin na pag ginawa nila yon, pupuntahan nila tayo at titingnan kung tayo nga ba ay sumunod sa mga kautusan, and we have not we have not any of those acts which are in violation of executive orders or standard protocols. So we don't come to breach those standards. We follow the standards. We keep on reiterating that. Just as we want to encourage you to also take some initiatives para nang sa ganoon po, whenever we are allowed for face-to-face encounter with our learners, then at least our schools are ready. But this, I would like to give emphasis. We are in the Bayanihan spirit, and there is already a Bayanihan law. There is a Republic Act that was released for that matter, where all our efforts are actually enjoined to give support to one another. And this will now come in, it will propel us towards taking into view the use of our schools as contain an area to isolate or to contain LSIs. Most of our municipalities are using our classrooms. But, well, to this effort, hindi po ginamit nila ang ating mga paaralan ng walang mga pahintulot. So, yan naman po ay binibigyan ng approval by our regional director. So, although there is a pronouncement by our regional director, at this point, parang hindi muna natin masyado na ipursige. Kung sinabi na magbubukas tayo ng pasukan by August 24 na agad-agad paaalisin. No action from your end shall be taken unless there is a written directive that you would receive from the division office who is given that authority to disseminate information pertaining such matters like pahihintuin na ba or hindi. But kasi kailangan nating tulungan ang isa't isa at hindi maganda na partnership na nagkaroon sila ang ating mga local government offices or units, mga LGUs natin, pinahihintulutan for the use, and then agad-agad baka magdesisyon kasi ang principal na, uy, umalis na kayo dito. Please, huwag po natin gawin yon. Let us always, maging magalang po tayo, maging respectful po tayo in our engagement with our local officials, and hindi lang po local officials ang tinutukoy ko na mga mayors or mga barangay captains, but kasama na po dyan ang ating mga taga-municipal health office or ating mga barangay health workers na siyang pinagkatiwalaan din ng ating mga local government units in terms of monitoring. Huwag po tayong maging pabara-bara in dealing with them, because may mga magagandang paraan din naman po tayo na pwedeng i-adapt so that we can engage with them in a manner that would not be that would not offend them or slight them. Kaya mag-antay po muna tayo ng sulat na manggagaling po sa division office pertaining that matter, because at the moment we already elevated our concern pertaining the opening of classes na where ang ating, if not mga bata natin pupunta sa ating mga eskwelahan kasi nga hindi allowed ang face-to-face, then presumably or rather expectedly, ang ating mga guro would be going to schools or would now be starting to report to schools come August 24. But there is another standing policy which says pag may mga LSIs dyan, huwag munang papuntahin ang ating mga guro. And so, with that, kung talagang papupuntahin tayo to report, we make some arrangements so that kung na-occupy ng ating mga LSIs ang ibang paaralan, then we make a way so that baka pwede na sa neighboring na school muna tayo magsama-sama as long as we exercise, we practice the social or the physical distancing, and we are in adherence to standards ng DOH or health and safety standards, then pwede po natin na gawin yon. After all, wala namang mga bata na pupunta. Magkakaproblema lang tayo in terms of our return to schools kung merong mga bata na pupunta doon. Pero kung tayo-tayo lang na mga guro, we can always make arrangements so that wala po tayong madisgruntle na mga partners natin in the performance of all these things that we are doing, of those people who are in support of education, and of all those people who are with us in this fight against the COVID pandemic, the COVID-19. So, yun po, inaasahan natin that you would still be with us when the Curriculum Implementation Division would be holding another webinar for us to get acquainted and be more familiar on how we can deliver, how we can operationalize the different learning modalities appropriate and applicable to our different localities. Plans are ongoing. We are just polishing some things so that after a while, we can call you back, we can convene again for that particular capacity building activity for our teachers to be more aware, to become more familiar on how we can operate the implementation of the curriculum using the different learning modalities which are introduced during this period of COVID, of the pandemic. And subsequent to that would be our simulation of the various learning delivery modalities in the different areas. We just would want to give our time, ourselves the sufficient time for the preparation of the modules, the scripts, and all other things that would be appropriate for the different learning modalities that we need to stage, we need to simulate or to dry run on a specific date that we still would have to agree with our curriculum implementation division people. So with it, I say again, thank you one and all for your active participation, for your patience, and most of all, for your commitment so that education can be made possible and can be made possible for our learners, and for allowing ourselves to become instruments in our fight against COVID-19. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless you all. Stay safe.
Virtual claps for Ma'am Liza. Thank you so much, Ma'am Liz, for continuously leading and guiding everyone in doing our tasks.
Thank
For
you.
your amazing support and scaffolds so that no one shall be lost and that everyone shall take their roles and responsibilities so lightly. With all our hopes and fervent prayers that we will be successful in all our desires for the schools division of Zamboanga del Norte. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Mabuhay. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Have a blessed journey, everyone. Have a blessed journey ahead as we traverse in our paths in educating our learners. In the end, let us also pay attention to honor God as we are so grateful to Him that our activities are blessed and successful. Good day, everyone.
Excuse me. Kindly request, may I request the education program supervisors to please open their cameras for our taking.
Yes, all education